Recorded live from the heart of the Bakken, it's the Williston Works Podcast.
Welcome to the Williston Works Podcast, brought to you by the City of Williston, North Dakota. Williston Works brings you in-depth discussions with the entrepreneurs, small business owners, and investors who are getting it done in Western North Dakota. I'm your host, Sean Wenko, Executive Director of the Williston Economic Development Office, and today we've got Jeremy Messer with us, Dr. Jeremy Messer, I should say, owner of Messer Dental. Jeremy, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
So are you from Williston originally?
I'm actually from Richardton, and most people don't. It's like 20 miles east of Dickinson. Tiny little town. You blink, you'll miss it. An Abbey ethanol plant. It's pretty much what we're known for there. That's about it. My wife's originally from Mandan.
Okay.
So,
how did you end up in Williston?
So it's kind of I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but the short version is my wife's uncle is Ron Wright. He's a chiropractor in town. Yep. So his daughter was getting married, and my in-laws and Ron and Kathy Seeley were sitting at the same table at the wedding. And Ron had kind of mentioned, what are your kids doing now? I said, our daughter's in Portland, Oregon with our son-in-law. He's going to dental school. And he's like, here's my card. Have him call me. So it ended up that they kind of connected us and went back and forth. And I told my wife, like, hey, I think we should go look at Williston. And at that time it was, a lot going on, like 2011, 2010. And she was like, nope, not going to happen. And I'm like, well, we should look into it. Nope, not going to happen. I'm like, okay, well, we'll keep it in mind or whatever. So ended up going back and forth. He had a couple options and they didn't work out, so we ended up coming back to the whole Williston thing, and I said, maybe we should look into it a little more, and she's like, fine. So we ended up coming up here looking, and we really, Ron and Kathy were great, so we ended up considering it when we came here in 2012 in the summer. I'd been in Portland, Oregon for 4 years, and 1 year in South Carolina for a residency down there, and came back, and I remember vividly driving up in the U-Haul, and I looked over at my wife in the U-Haul, and she was bawling as we were driving into town, because she was like, wondering what we did. And now I don't think I could get her to leave. She loves it. She has the best group of friends, a lot of really good girlfriends here, and she's super, super happy.
Well, and it's funny because, we can laugh about those stories because if I've heard it once, I've heard that 100 times. And it's just this challenge that we continue to have with Williston where it has a bad rap. But when you get here and you plant roots, you realize it's a pretty awesome community.
100%. And
I mean, and we've got a ton of people that whether they grew up here, moved away and came back, or people that had never lived here before and have come here. I mean, if you get involved, it becomes part of you, and you really grow where you're planted.
Yes.
And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for Williston. You got to get here and spend some time. It's much different than what you hear out there. And I always say the further away from this community, the taller the story, or the taller the tale that is told of the story.
Absolutely.
And just a lot of that stuff just isn't true. So you guys came here, and then you worked you worked in Seeley's office, then, Dr. Seeley, and with the intention you were going to take that over.
Yeah. So when I first got here, we kind of mentioned about like, let's have you work for 18 months. It was 18-month contract, be an employee for 18 months, and then after that, he still wanted to work for a few years. So he said, I'll stay on, and then you can buy the practice, and we'll kind of lead you through that, and then I'm going to retire. And that's kind of what we did. 2012 we came, 2014 we bought the practice. And then end of 2015, he ended up retiring. And then we brought in Dr. Jordan York, who's here now, who's originally from Bismarck. So,
well, and this is neat too. That's another story is what we saw, what was happening, this is maybe 10, 15 years ago in Williston was, Williston was we weren't seeing the activity that you see now. And a lot of the baby boomers were starting to look at, coming up on retirement, and there was this panic of who was coming back to do the professional services. And now, I mean, again, you just look at the opportunities here, and you just have a lot of people just coming back into the area or coming to the area for the first time to take over some of these services. So, it's great to have you guys here and have you on board. Now, we're going to get into with Messer Dental. You've got a new facility under construction.
Yep.
And in this facility, from what I've been told is really going to be a state-of-the-art facility. One, what motivated you to want to move forward and pursue this? And two, tell us a little bit about it.
So the biggest motivator for me was even when Dr. Seeley was here and his wife, Kathy, really helped us direct, the practice in a lot, and they helped us a ton. And they'd kind of realized we had grown so fast in our little space. He had 5 chairs in an office that was like 1,800 square feet, and he had 3 employees for like 34 years. And for when I got there in 2012, we went from those 3 employees to now we have 12 employees in the same practice. basically doing double what we did before, and we're just busting at the seams right now. We have no room to get people in. You want to come have somebody, new patient, come in to get their teeth cleaned or whatever. We're booked out 6-7 months right now. It's really hard to squeeze people in and do things, and we just need more space. We're just not efficient with things. We're hoping to bring in, some new equipment and do some things that we can't do right now to just make our practice just better.
And you guys did initially talk with the Small Business Development Center with Keith and Small Business Development, and this was a recipient of the FlexPace interest buy-down program through our STAR Fund. And for us, it was a good project, but, to you, it was pretty unique because you had researched some other opportunities that were out there as far as getting started, didn't you?
Yeah, so I have a dental-specific account that I used when I was in Portland, and she kind of laid out all the different bank loans that we could possibly get. And I said, this is what I'm getting from, the PACE funds from the city of Williston and then the Bank North Dakota and everything. And this is what we have from all the other, national banks. So Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they all kind of offer dental specific financing for these projects. And I said, well, this is what I'm getting from, the local. And she was like, that's not right. And I'm like, no, this is what it is. It's going to be interest buy down. They're going to give this, and they pay it down, the interest, as you're paying it down. And she was like, I'm going to have to get some numbers to people to figure out if this is real or not. So they ended up calling the Bank of North Dakota. They called people here and they kind of asked, is this real, how this is supposed to be laid out? And she's like, this is a no-brainer. This is the best option out of all the ones that you have. Take this in a heartbeat.
Well, and that's exactly what the program is designed to do, because it's an interest buy down program. We're matched by the Bank of North Dakota $2, just about $2 for every dollar we put in, and that's to help offset costs off the front end of the note. Because when you're building a new facility, you're going to have a lot of debt going into this thing, and anything that can help to kind of offset some of those costs is a big deal, because it ensures success for the future, and the payoff is in the back end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It was a huge sigh of relief for us when we found out we got it. Everything. It was kind of like, wow, that's impressive. It's impressive.
It's a great program, and we utilize it wherever we can. Mm-hmm. Once this building is open, is there plans for expansion? We expand your footprint as far as employment goes?
Yeah. So right now we have 12 employees and 1,800 square feet and 5 chairs. We're hoping to go to 8 chairs and add 2 or 3 employees there. And then we have room to go up to 10 if we'd like to. So we're not going to equip all the rooms right away. We're going to try and just keep it to where we need right now. And then there's room for growth in the future, basically.
And with the new building, again, there was some discussion on technology, utilization of technology into this new facility. What is Messer Dental going to offer that, being a new facility, what will it offer that we're not going to see at some of the other offices?
I think the biggest thing is just flow and just ways better for us to kind of coordinate patient treatment. As far as technology, it's hard. In dentistry, a lot of the offices here do a lot of the same things we're doing as far as technology, because a lot of dental stuff can be adapted into an older facility. So I think a lot of the dentists here are kind of on par as far as technology and everything. It's more for us getting the workflow better. Be able to have space. So instead of me and Dr. York working at one chair, we can have 2, and just having more availability to get patients in and do things that we just can't do in our existing space.
Sure, efficiency.
Exactly, and we can bring some. We're planning on bringing some more things. We can do crowns same day appointments. So somebody comes in, you don't have to miss work as much. We can do some fillings and crown and deliver the crown the same day. You don't have to come back. We can do things. We're hoping to do some more camera work as far as having people come in and taking pictures of teeth and showing look, this is what you got going on. This is where we're looking at doing and things like that.
As far as if I'm a developer, entrepreneur out there, and I'm listening to this and I want to take a jump into Williston, or I want to do something in Williston, but I'm still hesitant, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I say just give it a chance. Like we talked about before, I feel like when I go other places and I mention I'm in Williston, I get this look like, why do you live there? It's like, come on. You don't even know when's the last time you've been there. 20 years ago. It's give it a chance, come here, visit the people, see what's happening here, and just kind of dive into the community a little bit to really see what's going on here.
I couldn't agree with you more. Williston 20 years ago and Williston today is 2 different communities. And And I'm excited where we're going in the future because, we talked about on some other podcasts, we talked about we got a new airport opening up here shortly, a $265 million project. We're going to be redeveloping the old airport. That's 800 acres. We've got some great ideas for that. You look at state of North Dakota as the number one state in the nation for millennials that are moving here. And Williston is seeing a tremendous amount of millennials coming here. So when the millennials come, it's a demand for services that are probably different than what you might see, what we're normally used to. So we're seeing some great development on that. So anything else you want to add with Messer Deno?
I mean, I guess my biggest, going back to the building thing, I guess the biggest thing for me was to make this facility. I just wanted to have people have the same experience. I think a lot of people come from a lot of different areas here. We have friends from all over. We have local friends. We have people that have come from everywhere, Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, wherever. They're coming from all over. And I want them to have the same experience as a dental office as they can in a big city.
Yeah.
When you come to Williston, North Dakota, I want them to walk in and say, this is similar to a practice I'm in Denver or Minneapolis or wherever. Like, we want to do the same things everybody's doing across the country and do it here in Williston.
I think we've got that potential, and we've got something unique happening here in Williston. So we're glad to see you're doing what you're doing here and happening in the community. Thanks again for your time.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Williston Works podcast, brought to you by the City of Williston. If you're a developer, business owner, entrepreneur, or site selector and would like to learn more about the opportunities in Williston, give us a call and we'll help you make it happen. Like and subscribe for more podcasts, and to learn about Williston, visit willistondevelopment.com. I'm Sean Winko, Executive Director of the Williston Economic Development Office. We will see you next time.